Hey friends, welcome back to this homeschooling naturopath. If you're new here, my name's Hannah and I'm a homeschool mom of 3 girls who are 11, 10, and 7 and a newborn baby boy who is currently only 7 weeks old as I'm filming this. On this channel, I like to share content related to homeschooling, homemaking, motherhood, as well as some naturopathic info throughout some of my content here. Today's video, I'm going to be ranking the best units we've ever done from Gather Round Homeschool down to the worst units we've ever done. So if you're interested to hear my take on some Gather Round units, keep watching. Alright, so ranking the best units we've ever done down to the worst units we've ever done from Gather Round Homeschool. Now, first and foremost, this video is not about bashing Gather Round Homeschool. Absolutely not. As a matter of fact, I highly recommend that you go out and get yourself some Gather Round units because they're incredible. I love Gather Round. It is hands down our favorite curriculum company that we use here in our homeschool. We have used units from Gather Round for 4 years now, ever since we started homeschooling, so I'm a big advocate for the units from Gather Round Homeschool, and I'm definitely not here to say anything negative about any of them or about the company or anything like that. I just thought it would be kind of fun to share with you guys like what our favorite units are and what our least favorite units have been throughout our 4-year journey of using Gather Round Homeschool. So if you don't know how Gather Round works, basically, first of all, it is a non-denominational Christian homeschooling curriculum designed for homeschoolers, high school right down through pre-reader, and the way that it is set up is for you to be able to do with your entire family all at one time, hence the name Gather Round. Each unit contains all the subjects that you want to hit in your homeschool, for example, art, history, social studies, geography, science, Bible, language arts. I'm sure there's more in there. They fit a lot. They pack a lot into each unit, and it is really all that you need, aside, of course, from math. So the way that it is marketed is that you would pick a new unit study for each month, and you would spend 4 weeks on each unit with your family, and all of your children would work through all the pages in the student notebooks and then do their math. So today I've got 15 units that I'm going to be ranking the best down to the worst, and by no means is the worst a bad unit study. I think so often in homeschooling, if something is not working out, it's usually because of one, the season that you're in. Maybe you've bitten off a bit more than you can chew. Maybe there's a lot going on in your family or, extracurriculars, whatever it might be. For us, we've just had a baby this past term, and so as a result, our Gather Round unit has not worked out very well, and that is just because the season that we're in. Another reason might be because your children aren't quite ready for the material. I can tell you there's quite a few units that I'm going to be listing here today that we tried and my kids were just not ready for it, and that is why they may not be ranking as high as other units. And then the third reason is largely just to do with the amount of effort that I either did or didn't put in. So often if a unit doesn't work out, it's because I wasn't very enthusiastic about it, or I didn't put in enough time and effort into planning or organizing experiments or field trips or whatever it might be. Gather Round, when it works at its best, is when there's a lot of fun activities and fun crafts and fun books, and I don't know, that's my experience anyway. Without further ado, let me get into this ranking, best down to the worst. So first of all, coming in at number 1, you guys, this is all time the best Gather Round unit that we have ever done in our homeschool, and we've done many units since this, and nothing has ever been able to compare to it. This truly, it blew us all away, and that is Living Off the Land from Gather Round Homeschool. This unit we did, I believe, sometime mid-2023 we did this, and I can't even tell you how absolutely incredible this unit study was. This unit covers all about how our pioneer ancestors traveled west, largely by wagon. And I think for me personally, a huge part of why I loved it so much and why it hit home so much is because I'm American. I'm from California. Most of my family actually come from Utah, and so for me, coming from the West, you know, my ancestors made this journey. It was, you know, literally my great-great-grandparents who were on this journey west, you know, it's really not that long ago. And so for me, I think it really hit home personally because it was so close to home, if that makes sense. My girls and I have some incredible positive associations with this curriculum. We did some incredible things throughout this unit. We made candles, we grew potatoes, we made our own water filters, which my girls actually ended up taking to our homeschool science fair. They were that into it. We made beeswax, what are they called? Beeswax wraps. Gosh, I'm trying to think, because this was quite a while ago, I can't even remember all the things that we did. We went on a couple of farm visits throughout this unit as well. We read some incredible read-alouds while we did this unit. We watched some awesome movies, you know, Little House on the Prairie, all of that. My girls actually really got into the Little House on the Prairie series as well while we did this unit. So, I don't know, we really just became immersed in all things, you know, westward expansion time. This was also the first unit we did, which I had the MP3 to go along with it, so we did listen to the MP3 with this, and I'm honestly, like, when I tell you this hit home, I'm not even kidding. There were lessons when we did this that I teared up throughout it. Like, that's how involved I was in this unit study. I'm not even kidding you. And having the MP3 made a really, really big difference. I think it really helped make this unit as successful as it was for us. So yeah, hands down, 10 out of 10, our favorite unit, Living Off the Land from Gather Round Homeschool. Let's move on to number 2. I better not spend too long talking about each curriculum. Okay, number 2, and that is Australia and Oceania. Now, this one we did when we very first started homeschooling. It was the pretty much the first like proper curriculum unit that we ever tried, and it, again, I think, you know, it's the positive associations that you have to something. I and all my kids can look back on that time when we were doing this and just feel warm and fuzzy and joy and happiness. And, you know, a lot of that is to do with what we were covering in this unit. So Australia and Oceania, love. Obviously for us, we live in New Zealand. I grew up in the Pacific Islands. My kids have Pacific Island heritage. So covering the Pacific Islands was very, very relevant for us. If you are not from Oceania or you didn't grow up here, then this unit, you know, probably won't hit home for you as much, but it definitely did for us. And the science throughout this unit was incredible. We had a lot of fun learning about volcanoes and about how the land of the islands is actually formed. There's so much I learned from this unit that I didn't know before. Again, this is probably very much my enthusiasm that passed down into my kids. We had a lot of fun with this unit, and so for that reason, it is number 2. It was number 1 for a long time until we did Living Off the Land. Anyways, yeah, this is number 2 for us, Australia and Oceania. Number 3, our third favorite unit that we have ever done is space from Gather Round. We just did this recently. We started off our homeschool year this year, 2025, with this unit, and it was incredible. And again, it's all those positive associations, right? It's all the crafts we did, it's all the movies we watched, it's the field trips we went on, it's the, with this, we did a full solar system project. Each of my girls made their own solar systems, and it was just a lot of fun. And we learned a lot, myself included. And you know, when I think about all of the best units we've done, truly, I think it's when my kids see that I am learning so much alongside them. Like when there's a piece of information in a unit study like this that blows me away, and I'm just sat there like, did you guys hear that? Did you hear what I just read? That is wild. You know, and they see my excitement, and you know, they can see that I'm also actively learning alongside them. I think that really encourages them and makes the unit more successful, honestly. Anyways, this is number 3. Highly, highly recommend space. They do now have a new astronomy unit out. We won't be covering that just yet, just because we've literally just covered space. But I will definitely look at the astronomy unit for the future. Okay, coming in at number 4 on our list is human body. I was quite surprised when my girls wanted this so high, you know, so far up our list. We did this quite a while ago. We must have done this unit in 2022. Sometime mid-2022 we covered the human body, and I think honestly my girls probably don't remember it that much, but they have seen photos of some of the crafts that we did with this, and so I think that's probably why they ranked it so high, because we did a lot of fun craft projects with this. We were still pretty new to homeschooling at that point, and I was still putting in a lot of effort when it came to crafts and hands-on things. So we had things like red Orbeez that I would hide like little body parts in. We did like little brain hats. We did, I'm trying to think, I'll try and find photos and put them in here if I can't list them all. I honestly don't even remember, but we did a lot of fun stuff for the human body. We had a lot of fun books. We watched a lot of fun documentaries. There weren't any field trips that I can think of to go along with the human body, but yeah, they obviously remember the hands-on fun craft stuff, and that is what they have taken away from this unit, and so for that reason they're ranking it really high on our list, number 4. I also loved it, don't get me wrong, but it was a lot of reading, and most of the information in here would have gone way over all my kids' heads. But the important thing is that they still remember it, and they still have those nice warm fuzzy feelings about it because of all the crafts that we did. They don't remember much. There are things, like simple things about the human body that I ask them nowadays and they have no idea. So I think we probably need to recover the human body sometime soon. That might be a next year science unit to come back through. Yeah, because they really don't remember much from this, but they remember that they had fun doing crafts. So that's number 4. All right, coming in at number 5 is I whack myself in the head. This is Entrepreneurship from Gather Round. Now, we did not do this as an entire family. It was only my oldest daughter and I who did this, and she must have only been 9 years old when we covered this Entrepreneurship unit together. But when I asked her for her rankings, she put this up at number 5. She absolutely loved this unit. We worked on this at the same time we worked on human body, so it was a couple of years ago now. But again, it says positive feelings that she has, that she remembers. Her and I did this one-on-one, and so I think for her that's probably what she remembers the most, as well as the like projects that she did throughout this. We made chocolate together. I'm trying to think what else. Throughout this whole unit, you work on creating your own business. So you make like a logo, you make a business plan, and all these different things. And those are the things that she remembers, was again the hands-on stuff and making her own business idea. So she really, really enjoyed this unit, and she has actually restarted it just this past week. We got this back out. So she is going back through this unit now and is really, really enjoying it for a second time. So yeah, Entrepreneurship, highly recommend. All right, moving on. Where are we? This must be number 6. I'm gonna lose count of where we're up to. Number 6. This unit, I'm surprised it's so far down the list because I really, really love this unit. I would have put it higher, but that is farming and food. We did this unit, this must have been the 3rd unit that we did. We did this after we finished Oceania. And this unit absolutely blew me away. If Oceania didn't make me love Gather Round enough, this unit definitely did. So I'm surprised that it's coming in at number 6. There's so many amazing units to choose from, so I understand why my girls had some trouble. Also, we did this quite a while ago, so I don't really think they remember it that well. Farming and food covered all sorts of incredible things, and it couldn't have come at a more perfect time for us. We were going on a lot of really fun field trips. At the time we were covering this, we went and visited a dairy farm here. We went and visited one of my friend's homesteads, who at the time, you know, she had chickens and her own dairy cow and pigs and like you name it, you name the farm animal, she has it. And I also had a homeschool mama friend who was there talking about her honeybees and how she harvests honey and all sorts of things. So it, like, the field trips we went on in relation to this unit were incredible. We also, a lot of this we read in the car traveling back and forth between cities. And here in New Zealand, there's a lot of rural land. When we travel in between cities, you mostly see farms. And so that's what I remember from this, from reading it anyway, was like actually looking at cows and sheep in the paddocks as we covered this. So that was really cool. What I really loved about this unit was teaching my kids where our food really comes from. I think that that is something that is massively lacking in our younger generation. Like, in fact, even people my age, a lot of people literally don't even know what food comes from where. So that's what I really loved about this unit, was teaching my kids all about where food comes from and what that looks like, you know, and how, like, what the actual farming processes are. So that was really nice. I did thoroughly enjoy this unit, and I'm surprised it's coming in at number 6. I do highly, highly recommend this unit. All right, number 7, and I'm so sorry about the lighting, you guys. It's middle of the afternoon. I tried to film this earlier, but the lighting also wasn't very good. Anyway, we're gonna carry on. All right, coming in at number 7, that is Growing Up with God. Now, only my 2 older daughters have done this, and this is a unit that they did independently with me, one-on-one. Highly, highly recommend this. My older 2 thoroughly enjoyed it, and it is definitely one that I will continue to come back to. I will come back to it with my younger daughter when she is there. I will come back to it with both my older daughters when they're ready for the next level. This is the level 1. So I will definitely be buying the level 2 when they are ready for it and doing it again. I highly recommend this unit, and that has ranked number 7 on our list today. Okay, coming in at number 8, that is Earth Science. We just did this 2 terms ago. Well, I don't know, we just did this very recently, and it's ranking number 8, so obviously it hasn't ranked very high on our scale of best units we've ever done. However, we did really enjoy this. We watched a lot of cool documentaries. We learned a lot about volcanoes and earthquakes and you know, tsunamis and all the things. I think probably why it's ranking a little bit lower is just because it's information that my daughters seem to already know somehow. I don't know how. I don't remember ever actively teaching them any of this stuff, but obviously it's stuff that we've spoken about or they've watched in I don't know, shows, I'm not sure. They already knew a lot about a lot of the content that we covered in here, so I think for them it was a little bit repetitive, maybe slightly boring covering this type of stuff. You know, they already knew how tsunamis formed and stuff like that. So, and just because this is ranking at number 8 does not mean that it is a bad unit by any means. I think, again, it is just, it's either the season or the age or my lack of effort. Like, there are genuinely, these are the things that make a unit not rank very high. So I don't know. With this one, I think it was just the fact that my kids already knew so much about it, and potentially the information that was more advanced for them just went over their head. So it was hard to get the balance. But nonetheless, this was a fabulous unit, and we did have a lot of fun with it. We did a lot of fun projects. You know, we made volcanoes, we made little earthquakes, things like that. So yeah. Okay, coming in, what was this, number 9? Hang on, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, yes. Coming in at number 9 is Life Skills. We did this unit about a full year ago now, and I have to be honest, the reason it's ranking so low, I know it's coming in at number 9 because the season we were in when we did this was an incredibly busy season. When we did this, we had my niece staying with us. And it's just, you know, when you're out of routine, or, you know, when there's things going on in the home that you're not used to, it just really offsets all of the kids' engagement level. And that's what happened with this unit. We were not able to cover it in all of its depth. We were not able to do all of the projects I wanted to get to. We didn't read all the books I wanted to read. All of that, and yeah. Also, actually, when we did this, we also moved house in the process of that. So yeah, it was a very busy season, and that's probably why it ranked number 9. But nonetheless, this is a fabulous unit, and it is one that we will very likely revisit in the future. Okay, and coming in at number 10 is Dinosaurs. I just did a bit of a review on this just last week about how this isn't ranking very high on our best units ever, and so it's no surprise that it's coming in at number 10. But that doesn't mean it's a bad unit. We just had a baby this past, well, he's 7 weeks old now, so he was born when we were about 2 weeks into this unit, and so yeah. Again, it's the season we were in. We were rushed, we were busy, there was a lot going on, a lot of moving parts and all the things. So yeah, Dinosaurs wasn't very successful for us, but that doesn't mean that it won't be successful for you. So that's just my ranking of this unit. Take it or leave it. But we did actually do a lot of fun crafts with this. My girls had like those kits that you dig up bones, you know, dinosaur bones and those little clay things, different art projects, lots of documentaries, lots of books, all of that type of thing. So yeah, this wasn't a bad unit, but it's just not ranking very high on our list today. All right, I've got my baby now. He woke up and he's ready to hear the rest of our reviews. Okay, all right, coming in at number 11 is Oceans from Gather Round Homeschool. Now, as you can imagine, being at number 11, this isn't ranking very high. I think for me personally, what I didn't really like about this unit is that it kind of just felt a little bit dry. Like it just kind of felt like, here's a seal. This is where a seal lives. This is what a seal eats. This is what a seal does. Next animal, this is a sea lion. And that's what I personally didn't like about this unit. However, that does not mean it's a bad unit. My kids and I did a lot of fun activities with this. I made quite a few different like sensory bin things for them to play with throughout this. Of course, we did a lot of trips to the beach. We chose to do this unit in our summertime. I think maybe if my kids were a lot more interested in ocean animals and, you know, marine biology, then I think they probably would have been a lot more interested in this unit. But it just didn't really work out for us the best. That is number 11. Okay, coming in at number 12, that is Careers and Trades. Now, this is another unit that we did not do as an entire family. I did this unit just with my oldest daughter, and as you can imagine, coming in this far down the list, it was not her favorite. I don't think we ever fully finished this unit in its entirety. I think what my daughter didn't like about it was she found it a little bit boring, and again, that's probably to do with her age. I think this unit would probably be fantastic for an older child who is exploring what they want to do as a career. I think that's probably who this unit is really, you know, catered for, to be honest. She was just a little bit young and didn't find it very interesting, which is totally fair enough, but that does not mean that it is a bad unit. I think we will certainly revisit this in the future when she's a little bit older. So there's that. Okay, I'm totally lost now with what number this is. Might be 10, might be 11, might be 12, I'm not sure. Anyway, that is Artists. We tried to do this unit 2 years ago, and I didn't plan on doing it in its entirety. What I was using this for was as a supplement in our morning basket time, and very much as a supplement to our other artist studies that we were already doing. For example, our Simply Charlotte Mason art studies. We did Leonardo da Vinci, Vincent van Gogh, I can't think of who else we've studied, but I was just using this as a supplement, and so we only really got through the first couple of lessons, and I did try to take it further than that, but my daughters really were not overly interested in it, and that doesn't make it a bad unit. I think if you were to do this on its own, and not do it how I was doing it as a supplement, then it would probably be a lot more successful. I do strongly feel that this is a unit we will revisit in the future, but for the meantime, it's ranking pretty low on our list, and I think that's just because of the way that I was using it, you know, just as a supplement as opposed to a full unit study. So there's that. Okay, coming in next, and I really have no idea what number this is at this point, you guys. I'm totally lost, and I'm just really focused on trying to make sure the baby stays asleep. Coming in next, pretty low in our list of ranking, is US government, and I will 100% say that the reason this is ranking so low is because of my kids' ages. I tried to do this unit with them sometime in 2022, probably toward the end of 2022, when they would have been 8, 6, and 4, most likely, when we tried to do this. And so you can imagine it went way over their heads. I did plan a lot of fun activities and movies to go along with it to try and make it more interesting. I almost planned it out like a like an early American history unit, you know, with the US government stuff, you know, webbed throughout it, but it didn't work out that way, and we stopped it pretty quickly into it. My kids were not interested in this unit at all, and that is purely because of their ages. So I most certainly will look at doing this again in the future. I have also actually had this for my oldest daughter. I've tried to get her to revisit it on her own. Well, you know, just her and I, and even then she hasn't been interested in it, even though she's a couple of years older now. So this is probably something you want to be doing at high school level, which, like, obviously, like, US government, yeah, little kids are not that interested in it, at least mine aren't. So that's why this is ranking so low. Second to last, I don't know what number this is, but second to last is unfortunately Botany. We did this unit at the start of 2024, and I am actually surprised it's ranking this low, to be honest, because it's a unit that I really enjoyed. And again, we did some fun crafts, we watched some fun movies, we had some good conversation, but I don't know, my kids aren't that interested in how plants work, I guess. Again, it's probably information that my kids already knew about. You know, we have a home garden, we've grown our own vegetables, we've grown our own fruits, we've been foraging for mushrooms in the forest. So I think it's information that, again, they already were pretty aware of, and they didn't really want to go further into that, you know, into the real scientific stuff. So that potentially is also why it's ranking so low. I don't know. Yeah, ultimately they just found it a little bit boring. Again, that doesn't mean it's a bad unit, but just with their ages and their prior knowledge, it just didn't work out for us. Okay, and then finally coming in dead last, and before I show you guys which unit it is, I mean, I have to clarify, this is not a bad unit at all. I think I probably jumped into this unit because I thought it looked really good. When it first came out, I was like, oh wow. In fact, when this first came out, I bought it immediately. And I jumped into it because I was super excited about it, but my kids were not. And it's probably because of their ages. Anyways, that is chemistry. We did this sometime in 2023, probably mid-2023, I would say. So my kids would have all been 2 years younger than they are right now, and they did not enjoy this at all. I think we only got to like lesson 5 or 6, and then we put it aside. It wasn't that it was bad or, you know, boring or, you know, anything wrong with it, but it just went over their heads, as you can imagine. We did do a lot of fun activities with this, you know, things like making our own slime, making Play-Doh. We made homemade ice cream in like bags of salt and ice, you know, that kind of ice cream. So we did do a lot of fun things in the few lessons we did from this, but ultimately it just did not work out. And I was actually having to put in a lot more effort as far as activities go, those hands-on projects, to make it seem more relevant to them. And so it was just a little bit more effort than I was prepared to continue putting into it, if that makes sense. But yeah, this is definitely a unit we will revisit again in the future, because I think it's actually fascinating, and I love how Gather Round has this laid out, to be honest. I really like, you know, chemistry in your fridge, chemistry in your laundry room, chemistry on the walls. I think that's really, really cool. I really like how Gather Round have done this, and I think that's probably why I jumped on it so quickly when it first came out. But nonetheless, my kids didn't really enjoy it, nor did I, and that's why it is ranking dead last on our list today. I thought it was a list of 15. It might be 16, I'm not sure. Anyways, there you have it. Now, what I have not included in this list today is all of our holiday units that we've done. I didn't think it was super relevant to have all the holiday units in here, but we have done Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Thanksgiving, Easter, as well as all 3 Christmas units, and I highly, highly recommend all of those units. I think that they're fabulous. We have done Thanksgiving now 3 times, we've done Easter twice, and we have done all 3 of the Christmas units. Our favorite Christmas unit that we did out of the 3 of them is Christmas Around the World. Again, those warm fuzzy feelings come back to me and to my kids when we think about that particular unit. We did try to do old-fashioned Christmas this past year and it was not very successful, so we probably won't seek to do that unit again. But Christmas Around the World definitely was our favorite Christmas unit from Gather Round, although we have now done the first Christmas twice, so I don't know, that's saying something. I think we will continue to alternate. This year for Christmas we will do Christmas Around the World again and then do the first Christmas again next year. I love that alternation. I think that, yeah, the units are absolutely fabulous. Alright friends, there you have it. That is our best to worst ranking, our most favorite down to our least favorite Gather Round units that we have done. We are still working our way through quite a few units at the moment. Currently we're working on Unsolved Mysteries, which is going great so far. It's super interesting. Again, it's yeah, when I'm really interested and I'm learning a lot, I think it really translates to my kids. So hopefully we can, you know, stay on a roll with that and make it a really successful unit. And I'm really looking forward to the units that we already have lined up for the rest of the year. We have got Creepy Crawlies coming up next, and then we'll be moving into Thanksgiving and to Christmas again. So yeah, it's crazy how fast the year is going. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions about any of these units or any other units, I'm absolutely more than happy to answer them. Like I said, we've been doing Gather Round for quite a few years now. It's a curriculum that I'm very, very familiar with, as are my children. So yeah, any questions you have, definitely happy to answer them. As always, I hope you guys are taking really good care of yourself, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!